I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here in the White House James Brady press room today to talk about President Trump's peace plan that was supposed to be released to the world in February, but now is delayed in light of Prime Minister Netanyahu's having to be up for re-election, which is not until April. So they're likely not a response until after the Prime Minister's and this election in Israel. There's a concern not only because of the peace plan, but also what's happening to Judeo and Christian freedoms around the world. Highlighted cases in Vilnius in Lithuania, where there's a desecration of a Jewish cemetery, and elsewhere throughout the world, Jewish and Christian cemeteries being desecrated. Back against to the peace plan of President Trump, a lot of Christian and evangelical Christians in America and elsewhere see that there is a solution to this issue found in the Tanakh of the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, and it's in the prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 2, that says, God enters into judgment in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the nations that divide up his land. So many Orthodox Jews, evangelical Christians around the world encourage President Trump not to ever consider dividing Israel, any type of a peace plan, Palestinian state issue, and this is a concern for all these Jews and Christians throughout America and throughout the world. Back to the Vilnius issue in Lithuania, a very serious case, a city council wanting to vote on moving those graves in disrespect for the Jews there that died. And so a lot to pray about regarding Judeo and Christian freedoms around the world, and here to deal with about what can be done with, or what can be done to protect Jewish and Christian freedoms around the world. So very challenging issues, and I think in light of a lot of terrorism, and we just heard today about an ISIS bombing in Syria, and Israel's concerns about their security regarding the Golan Heights, a very strategic place for them to have that influence. And so many would want to know from President Trump what can be done now in light of this ISIS bombing, if that's going to lead to him reconsidering withdrawing from Syria. And for those that have not heard about President Lincoln's solution to terrorism, or in the case of King Solomon of Israel, it's found in 2 Chronicles 7:14, which the National Day of Prayer and many people around the world refer to often. And this is in response to King Solomon, who's been praying for wisdom how to rule Israel. And it states, if my people which are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sins and heal their land. And also in President Lincoln, what he had to say in the middle of the Civil War, President Lincoln had a lot to say about the assessment of America, and that is concerns about what can get us back on track again. Also in light of President Trump's call to making America great again, President Lincoln, for many evangelical Christians, see that President Lincoln has a solution to making America great again. And the assessment in the middle of the Civil War, it states, and by the way, you can read that at the top of our website, imcnews.org, where Lincoln's assessment was that America is a nation that has forgotten God. We have become too proud and arrogant and self-reliant. And he referred to an Old Testament verse, actually, in Psalms that says, blessed only are those nations whose God is the Lord. So for a lot of evangelical Christians and Orthodox Jews, they would want President Trump to defer to President Lincoln on what will make America great again. So this assessment of Lincoln is very related to America, as I see that we're having right now a lot of division. And President Lincoln, that proclamation that he made, said that America is very divided, and so much so now. So check that out, what President Lincoln had to say, what King Solomon had learned when he was praying for wisdom. Our website, imcnews.org, you'll see President Lincoln's picture there at the top, and learn more about some details of his assessment and the solution to terrorism.